Hey, welcome to the Up and Adam Show. Training camp is underway. The pony is back, everybody. And we have some great guests. We have a Hall of Famer, quarterback, bestie of the show, Warren Moon on the program. Always an honor to have him stop by, share his thoughts on some quarterbacks, maybe some Tennessee Titans quarterbacks, of course, on the Hall of Fame game next Friday, I believe. And of course, we'll get our fill with the headlines going on across the league. And the host of the Athletic Football Show, Robert Mays, is going to talk me off a Trey Hendrickson posting on Instagram from Florida Ledge. It's 8 a.m. in Los Angeles. I'm here. Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon on the show. Big thanks to our bookers for grabbing some huge guests. Back-to-back Hall of Famers. You'd love to see it. Matthew Hamilton. Yes, we do have Robert Mays, who will talk to us about, I think he went to Lions camp already. There's lots going on.
Yes.
I believe I am Jared Goff's biggest fan. I am Jared Goff's biggest fan going into 2025, year of our Jared Goff. He's the post-hype sleeper, the one that I have my eye on. I went and did a sit down with him for Netflix Sports, but even without that, and he was so delightful watching him on quarterback season 2 and just learning everything I learned about him is amazing. We, of course, were told yesterday. Why can't I think of who? Oh, but who told us this? About Jared Goff's workout. Yes, Mike Singletary. Yes. Was telling us, thank you. Oh, thank you, Richard Watch from a plane. Wow. Mike Singletary told us that he has the best work ethic, that he's a dream for any coach. I can't wait to see what the lines look like. So we'll get into Robert May's head, of course. I myself am playing pickleball for 2 hours today. I just want everyone to know. And we'll get into this maybe in the break. Matthew, I've done so many pickleball things now. And the fact that I don't, on a list of things that are truly embarrassing about myself, still not knowing the rules to pickleball, the scoring system, really anything about it has to be taught, well, there's a lot of things on the list, but it's got to be up there. If anybody has can you sum up pickleball in one sentence for me? Go. But go ahead.
I mean, it's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to not pick up any of that stuff as you go. You should probably at least know the general rules if you're going to play that much. Who can we get a hint? Who are you playing with today? What's going on?
I mean, all I know is that I got smacked once by Lance Bass and who was it? Saweetie. Smacked around the little baby tennis court. Therefore, ergo, no matter what happens today, it won't be as pathetic as that. You can't do worse. I'm not. No, I mean, to them, respectfully. We got smacked around by them. So we'll see. We've got a lot to get to. But we're here. It's morning. It's kind of still morning in New York. But I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as some country crooner sang once, and everybody likes to quote, which means we can go to the bar. And at the bar, you find one of the better barguments of our generation, which is Philip Rivers a Hall of Famer, right? We're going to dig in to all of that. We, of course, saw his beautiful, poignant, emotional little video yesterday. I actually hadn't seen it, and Hamilton had to send it to me, and I said, what? And I rushed to check it out. But we've got that to cover, lots to cover here. So thanks for being along on the ride, and thank you guys for making FanDuel Sportsbook your place where you place your bets and fun responsibly for this upcoming season or any sport that's taking place. Falcons-Steelers bets report tomorrow. 30-32 teams are underway at training camp. And true to form, Cowboys already stealing the show. We saw Jerry speak yesterday, of course. He made the comments about his career, having fun, what goes into things, the MICAH PARSONS of it all, and about Dak Prescott. Here's just a little bit.
Just because we signed him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
Yowza. And then, of course, Micah retweets his post from JJ Watt criticizing Jerry for taking shots at his players. Micah, always honest. He's always honest and tells you how he feels. Listen, this is not what you want heading into camp. And I totally get why people, especially current and former players, are annoyed by this. I will say, and I'm not excusing what he said, this is very Jerry Jones, right? Like, this is not something that when I saw go down, like we couldn't see this coming. Like, this is just the way things go there. Can you say it's mind numbing? Can you say you'd like to see something else? Can you say it might affect them and there's collateral damage, as we discussed with RJ Cho of Blogging the Boys yesterday? Yes, you can say all of these things, but this is the Jerry Jones negotiation experience. He's going to say what he always says. It's all part of his dance. And more importantly, it kind of, the magic of it, there's offense and resentment and things that that add to maybe them not performing at the talent level that they might have over the course of a set of years, a lot of years. But the beauty of it is that it kind of doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just part of the ride. It's the dressing on the set. Like, it's like what the content of it is that they're ultimately going to take care of him. He'll ultimately express how he feels through his checkbook. He has done that. He just operates in this way. You have to accept certain things about certain people. And he's, one of the most impactful, one of the most important people. He did this exact dance, this exact playbook, this exact choreography with Dak last year. So much talk and drama and, Dak saying he had to stop listening to things Jerry says to the media a long time ago. Do we not remember that? And what happens a few days later? We do remember. He gave him the richest contract in NFL history. He got out his checkbook and he got it done. A contract that still, by the way, has not been topped. So we're not making excuses. It's certainly part of the content machine, whatever. And we don't want to have to sift through BS like this, but I'm not worried. I also did not see this coming, right? Jerry has a ton of respect for Micah. I always come back to what Micah told me during the Super Bowl about how they kick it.
It just depends. Sometimes we'll just talk about life. We'll talk about financial decisions, his history and past about losses, mistakes, like things that he could have done better on. Or, we'll talk about the future of the team, what I think about someone, prospectively, where I want the team to go, how do we get back on a winning chain?
What does it feel like to be in that inner circle?
Honestly, I'm just working my way there. You know what I mean?
I think you're there, Micah.
We're coming closer and closer every time.
I know. I'm like, I think you're there, Micah. And I do think he is, but then my comment kind of looks stupid because he's not paid yet. Jerry is asking for Micah's input, though, on the team. That's what you just heard there. They're talking long-term goals together. The deal will get done. And if I were to be a responsible wagering gal, as I am on FanDuel Sportsbook, I would say that the deal shatters what TJ Watt got. You might hate that. I know that between CD, Dak, and Micah, then that's a lot for 3 players. But we're going to forget about all this. This is going to evaporate into dust. Neuralizer 5000 once he gets signed, and he will get signed. He's also the preseason fave for Defensive Player of the Year over on FanDuel. Plus 600. Who else we got? A recovered, ready to go Aiden Hutchinson. Go Lions. And of course, Myles Garrett in the mix there. He's been so good, consistent through the first 4 seasons. I don't know. Micah, it's just a matter of time before he takes that award home at Honors. If he's, not playing at a Super Bowl. Whoa. Okay. Let's do this thing. If you guys have questions for Warren Moon, let me know. Robert Mays is going to sort out who let me be on TV. He's gonna sort out. He will be here, our esteemed colleague and actual capital J journo, Robert Mays, to sort out what is going on around the league as 30 of 32 camps are underway. If you missed it, late yesterday afternoon, Phillip Rivers announced his retirement as a Charger. Almost incredibly, extraordinarily so. I cannot believe that it's been 5 years since he played his last game. Here's just a little misty, dusty snippet.
Thankful for those 16 years and for entrusting me to be the quarterback. And certainly never took it for granted.
Come on, keep fighting. Just keep fighting.
I never took it for granted. Getting to suit up and lead the Chargers for 240-something games in a row. Goes fast. right, let's take a break on that. Whew. Golly.
Golly is right. No secret that he's been one of my favorite players. Chiefs fans, calm down. Everyone, one of my favorite players. For the gollies, and like I could not pass a Fuddruckers when I was younger and not think of Phillip Rivers and how he would say that. Like that's just like the way he articulated himself. He could. There's a mic'd up Phillip Rivers hates to see me coming because I'm watching it, wearing out the tape. It's a million times over and over. I could recite the things. He needs a role in a booth somewhere. He needs a role on a set whenever he finishes doing what he loves best, which is hanging out and rearing children and raising a great family. Congratulations, Phillip, on your retirement, on everything that's going on. Incredible tribute. And by the way, I'd like to see that number 17 retired soon as well. So much that I'm putting it in song. By the way, Phillip, this is the argument back at the bars, 5 o'clock somewhere. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? He is eligible for this upcoming Hall of Fame class. I know he's probably not getting in on the first ballot, and that's probably going to be okay, and I don't think very hotly debated for first ballot, but when it comes to him being a Hall of Famer, this is going to drag on a little bit. He never won a ring. Get that. I don't know, though, Margot, how you look at his accomplishments and tell me he doesn't deserve to get in at some point. The man, take a look. Top 10 all-time in wins, 6th in yards, touchdowns, the efficiency stats like yards per attempt. He has more fourth quarter comeback wins than Joe Montana and Brett Favre, 12 seasons with 4,000 yards. Only Peyton and Tommy have more. One of the greatest competitors, leaders, talkers, flat-out football players, toughest, all the things that I've gotten to sort of witness in my lifetime. He's a favorite. He's just a favorite. And rings are important. And the Hall of Fame is sacred. But the ring shouldn't be the end all be all at the quarterback spot, in my opinion. The lack of one shouldn't completely erase a guy's accomplishments and their campaign and their bid towards being in it. I don't believe that. Again, I'm not saying first ballot. I am not saying he should get in the next 2-3 years, but at some point, Phillip, based on what we just saw, has got to be in. Let's have a serious conversation here. And I just feel like over time, and I'm so curious to ask our guest today, Hall of Famer Warren Moon, about this, we've really started to put the Lombardi emphasis in a place that might just like weighed too much or something. Or isn't it? You guys tell me how you feel. We've seen back when I liked how things were going, the Dan Fouts, right? The Jim Kellys, the Dan Marinos, the Tarkenton, all, Warren Moon get in without a ring. So now this like doesn't have a ring. When did this happen? Is it because the competition level has changed, or what's changed here? You cannot have the career that Phillip Rivers had and played an elite level for that long and not get in. He should be the 6 right after Fran. Okay. I get some of the other arguments, but kind of not. It's just the ring thing. And Hamilton, I guess, we'll take a break here. We've got Robert Mays coming up. Please subscribe to YouTube. You guys can check out our hilarious hijinks in the breaks. Robert Mays on after this. Warren Moon on the way. I always liked when we would talk about this stuff, Matt. Like in New York on Good Morning Football, because it was like always talked about a lot, just all the things.
Yeah.
3-hour-a-day show. Just like there was it might have been Peter, it might have been Kyle. One of them, their gauge for the Hall of Fame is, can you write the history of the NFL without them?
Yeah.
Like, can you, and so that would be an argument, I think, potentially maybe against Phillip.
Yeah, but I think when you look at too, like you can't look at those record books at the quarterback position without seeing his name in there. And again, yes, because there might not have been the iconic moments on the biggest of stages, you can make that argument, but I mean, you play that well for that long, it's really hard to keep a guy out. And I think he's also, again, and you can make the argument, you should have beaten Tom Brady or Peyton Manning one of these times and gotten there, but he did also happen to be playing in the same era as two of the top 4 quarterbacks to ever play the game, and had to run into them in the AFC every year. And people might make the argument, well, Big Ben did too, and he won a couple Super Bowls, but he also had the #1 defense in the league for 6 years at his back. So there's that side of it too.
He's got to get in. I think the idea that like, absolutely, again, it's a hard conversation to have on social media because I might not know pickleball rules, but I understand first ballot and I understand the process and it's not, I wouldn't even expect a casual fan to know about it or like a fan at all, but like, then don't tweet about it because it's a little more, like there's a nuance to it. And like, obviously Warren's the right person to talk about, and I'm not coming to it from a place of not, but it's been beaten into my head by the NFL itself for 6 years. And then through the Hall of Famers that come on our show and talk about the process and the Hall of Famers who get snubbed and have to wait, like the Jared Allens, and you know, like the Hesters of the world. And we have a lot of Hall of Famers pop by our show, want to talk about stuff like that. So it's definitely, the first ballot thing I will not get. One of my life lessons is never get in a debate about first ballot with anyone.
Because people just don't get it. Yeah.
We sound awful. We sound condescending today. I don't like this vibe, but it's kind of true with this thing.
Yeah. And you're right. And Philip, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a while probably, but you know, as it probably should, again, the first ballot should be reserved for those top of the top.
Here we have it. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers camp in full swing. He was lurking, Jim Harbaugh, yesterday. Robert Mays, host of the Athletic Football Show. What is going on with Jim Harbaugh here? What is happening?
I never know what's going on with Jim Harbaugh. His opening press conference, he was going through all the presidents he's met and where he's met them. Just the day-to-day entertainment of covering that team, I think, has to be amazing. I've got a working theory that the more unhinged you are as a general human being, the better NFL head coach you are. And so I think that Jim Harbaugh is probably at the top of that list right now.
That is me that photo is me when I'm watching anything on television and that scary movie with Allison Brie and her husband, Dave is it Franco? Whatever that movie is, that is me. That is like, I like close my eyes. I like, don't want to see it. I don't think scary movies have a place with promos during sports events. I'm babysitting my nephews and nieces a lot lately. And I'm like, don't look at this. I'm gonna have to deal with this 6 hours later when you're going to bed. Eyes, cover them. Like, it is insane what they're showing. Anyway, this is not where I thought we'd start with this, but that is Jim Harbaugh. That's what that reminded me of. And here we are with host of the Athletic Football Show, Robert Mays, who we'd love to hang out with. I can't believe training camp's here. It's unbelievable. You and I love Phillip Rivers, but we got to talk about things that are going on right now. You know who I love this year? I love Jared Goff. I did not give him enough love last year, and everybody was all over him, but now I'm completely in. How was he looking yesterday at Lions camp?
Good. I talked with Jared yesterday, and I just think that he's really entering into a new phase of his career. And I think it speaks to the Lions overall. Like, this feels like a team in transition in ways both good and bad. But in talking to him yesterday, he's 31. You know, I was talking to him about his baby and, you know, she was born a few weeks ago. Like, he's just stepped into this era of his career where he's an established veteran. They're leaning on him in ways they wouldn't have previously. And I think that's going to be one of the challenges for this Lions team is as there's some instability with some spots where the coordinators, new players, can they rely on the guys who are like the stable forces within that building? And he's certainly become one of those.
When I talked to him, I asked him, you know, who's looking great, who's ready to step up. And I'm curious who like popped at camp yesterday, or who's the name I need to know?
The guy that I have my eyes on is Tate Ratledge, who's the rookie center for the Lions, just because they're going to be relying on him in a huge way. I was wondering how that offensive line was going to shift without Frank Ragnow, and I thought that they might put Graham Glasgow at center because he's a veteran, and that team has really enjoyed the benefits of an elite center for the last few years, and that seems to be what they're doing with Tate Ratledge. And he's a guy that is 6'6". He's really crazy athletic, and they're going to give him the first shot there. And if he can step in and be a good player from day one, there's a chance that offense doesn't miss a beat even without Ragnow in the lineup.
Why does your camera look so good? What camera is that? You look.
I have
what is this?
I bring my whole podcast setup on the road with me. Like I have a mobile studio in a Pelican case. It's annoying, but it's useful for stuff like this.
I could never. Will you text me, please? What that is? I need to.
I will.
Need to.
Sure.
You look awesome. I can't believe like you're on the road, doing all of this. I feel like I'm trying to think. Hamilton, remind me of who was it? Williams. I'm trying to think who Jared told me popped. I can't remember now. Ham, are you here?
Yep.
It was Jameson Williams, right?
It was Jameson Williams. Yep.
What did he say?
He was just talking about how he's standing out. He expects him to make a big breakout year. I can't remember the exact wording that he used, but basically like a breakout year is coming for Jameson.
I love that. So you're in Arizona. Thanks, Ham. I literally could not think of it. So I'm expecting a breakout year from Jameson Williams because that's what Jared Goff told me. You're talking to all the quarterbacks. I believe, are in Arizona now. Is that right?
I am. Yep. I'm in Tempe right now. I'm going to see the Cardinals in about 2 hours here.
Well, look out for the Scorpions in your shoes. And who are you looking out for? What is the biggest question you have about this Cardinal squad with the easy stuff schedule to start the year? Are they being overlooked?
I think they might be because obviously the offense has been pretty consistent with Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray in their first couple of years since he came back. And the defense it's hard to keep track of all the new talent that they have on defense. Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Will Johnson, Josh Sweat, Walter Nolan. I mean, this is going to be a completely different unit from what it was a year ago. And I thought they were well coached last year. I think that Nick Corrales, their defensive coordinator, has a lot of interesting ideas. They just didn't have much talent. The talent should be less of a problem this year. So if that group can take a huge leap and the offense stays consistent, I absolutely think that they'll be competitive in that division.
Darius Robinson barely played last year, the first rounder. We'll see how he looks. I'm excited about that. Is there any, can they disrupt what's going on with we had Mike Singletary on yesterday. He's talking himself into the Niners winning the division, then the Rams D-line, and talking about experience and being there. The Cardinals do not have that as this squad. Any chance they can make some noise here? How would they be able to upset those two at the top?
I think it's the defense really turning things around, like going from a slightly below average unit to like a top 10 unit with all those additions. And I think it's the young players on offense taking a significant step forward. Marvin Harrison had some flashes last year, but I think they never quite figured out what he was supposed to be within that offense. If he can really emerge and kind of assert himself as one of the better young receivers in football, if Paris Johnson can take a big step forward and all the pieces on offense kind of come together in a way that they never have, I absolutely think that they can disrupt things in the NFC. I feel like that second tier of teams is kind of wide open. Like it could all go either direction with Washington, the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Rams. There's so many teams kind of crowded in that spot that if things break right for one of the teams in that little tier of teams, I absolutely think somebody could surprise out of that group, and Arizona's absolutely in there.
You're going to most of the camps. What are you looking like? When I go, I really look at like culture, vibes, who's not letting me talk to certain people. I like that for the team. And like, I hate it for me, but like you do kind of like it. What is maybe the one thing that sort of through all of them, you're really going to be sussing out?
I really talk to mostly coaches when I'm here. And I think it's about where you want to be better, where you did your self-scout in the off season, where do you think your holes are? How are you going to kind of evolve from year to year? That's mostly what I try to figure out, is just get a sense of how do we want to tweak some things? How do we want to improve some things? How do we want to be a different team this year from the one that we were last year? So that's a majority of the conversations that I have while I'm on the road for what seems like an interminable amount of time.
It'll be a lot of fun. I mean, do you have like a list of restaurants? I can imagine you've got the places you need to go. I know. I have like 4 or 5 like fun dinners that I'm going to. I'm trying not to hit it that hard because we just got back from Italy like a week ago, and I'm not in a good spot. I'm still recovering from that trip, and so I'm eating a little bit differently on this one than I might have in years past. Boo! I hate that.
We'll still do okay. We'll still do okay.
I basically went to the Italy of America. I was in Chicago for like 2.5 weeks, and our hometown, I don't spend that much time there. And I wasn't staying, usually I just eat at my mom's house. I actually thought of you when we got you to come on the show. I was like, oh my gosh, like we have to talk a little Chicago here because I went, I did the Kasama breakfast sandwich, delightful. I'm trying to think of the donut place that's like in an alley in Lincoln Park. I forget what that one's called. Something.
Beacon Donuts, right off
Donuts,
yeah.
delicious. And I'm trying to think like, is there a new spot that I need to try? I want to see if I hit them. I went to Trivoli Tavern, Armitage Ale House.
Trivoli Tavern's cool. Yep. Oh, so you did all the hog salt all the hog salt restaurants.
I did the hog salt tour. I have a Connect, so that's like the only place I can get in. Rezzies in Chicago are not as easy as I thought they would be.
You got to get ahead of them. Did you get any of the desserts at Trivoli Tavern? Because the desserts that they have there are crazy good.
I only eat desserts. I have a 3 dessert minimum on any situation I go to. And I do have a question. Now that you've brought it up, I have to ask you, I should have planned on this. We could show a picture. What did I miss about Chicago's obsession with sticky date pudding? Every menu, I've never been to a place that everybody has like competing toffee date or sticky date pudding. Why is this a Chicago? Where did it
It's
come
just
from?
a hog salt thing. It's just a hog salt thing. It's not a Chicago thing. That restaurant group has it on multiple menus because it's really, really good. I think it started at Armitage Ale House and then they put it on the Trivoli Tavern menu, if I had to guess.
I feel like I saw it everywhere and I was like, I didn't know this. Like I literally didn't know that this was the birthplace, but I'm happy for it. I'm very excited about it. As you are about your 20-ish tour camp thing, here or there, up or down, round up or round down to see how many you get to. Weather and flights will be fun for you. I can't wait. You're going to go all the way across the country. I imagine you're going to visit some Florida teams. Which Florida team on tour do you have the most questions about, and where do you think you'll learn the most?
The Jags, I'd say. And that's actually the only Florida team I'm going to this year. Nice. Tampa and Miami are just very far away from everything else. But I had to go to Jacksonville just because I have so many questions there. I don't think there's any more interesting player in the NFL this year when it comes to watching him at training camp than Travis Hunter. Is there anybody else where I would read a running diary of what he did at practice, like where he was practicing, what he was doing? He's easily the most compelling non-quarterback in football when it comes to what the next month of his life looks like. So I'm pumped about that. I'm interested in what their defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanile, is going to do. I'm excited to talk to Liam Cohen about what he sees for the offense. Like, this is just a team that I think has a decent amount of talent, and I don't know if they're a sleeping giant in the AFC, but I think they could surprise some people if that offense structurally looks like the Bucs offense did last year.
Are you ready to talk me off the ledge on Trey Hendrickson, or do your best?
I don't think so. I mean, he's doing like back in God's country Instagram posts now. I wouldn't feel good about that if I were a Bengals fan. I mean, that seems like a man who's ready to dig in. I was looking up his career earnings this morning just to see how much he's got in the bank and how willing he might be to see this all the way through. And I don't know, $68 million is a lot of money. I might be willing to make a stand on principle if I had that in my bank account.
I mean, how does this, don't say, this is not what I wanted you to say. And I heard Bengals owner Mike Brown, he also similarly, I don't know if you looked at his Excel spreadsheet of the money that he has, but yeah, he's doing okay too. He feels to me like somebody who similarly maybe has a couple more coins than 68 million and can dig in and feels the way that he feels. And he was not budging. He was not budging about Shamar and any of that. Like, which one's more likely to get done? Do you think Trey or Shamar? I can't believe that's the question.
I would probably say Shamar just because I think that he has less leverage here. You know, the idea of him sitting out the season and going back through the draft, like, it would be unprecedented. I just can't imagine that happens. Again, Trey's got $68 million in the bank. I'm not sure Shamar's got that to fall back on. So I feel like that's the more likely one. But man, if you're a Bengals fan or a Cowboys fan, having to listen to those media appearances from your owners yesterday, talking about players and contracts and everything else, it's not a great way to start the season. The vibes are not strong in either one of those places.
And we've seen it before in all places. I do think that Jerry will write the check. I have no doubt Jerry will write the check. I'm not worried about Micah. I'm not. Are you disagreeing?
No, I'm not worried about it happening.
He was saying the same stuff about Dak last, like if you go back and listen, and we might, I don't know, do we have the bite, Richard? About Jerry and Dak? Yeah. I don't think did Jerry on Dak though? Yeah, we don't have it. We were listening to it this morning. It's truly the same thing. And then like 4 days later, he's the highest paid guy and he still is. You know, like I'm not as worried about that. This Bengals thing is a little messy. And I think when it comes to the guaranteed of it all with Trey, right? That's the sticking point. They're guaranteeing 1 year. That does not feel good if you're Trey. That's disrespectful. Why would you do something like that? That's the thing, because you're looking at Miles and TJ. They both have 3 guaranteed. That's the market.
Yeah, and they've done outlier things for outlier players, right? They gave Joe Burrow things they'd never given anybody else. They gave Jamar Chase things they'd never given anybody else. But I think Trey Hendrickson's probably sitting there and saying, I'm that sort of player too. I rightfully was in the defensive player of the year race last year. And the fact that all of these guys at the position have gotten these contracts this offseason, I can understand him sitting there like the Will Smith meme looking around being like, why is this happening? Like, why am I the one who's left out in the cold here when I've been almost as productive as all these guys who are getting $40 million a year?
He is that guy. He's top 3 in sacks over the last 4 years. And it's interesting we're talking about who can dig in there. I mean, that's logical to think, right? Like, oh, like Shamar needs the money more. Like, I don't know. He doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? Like, there's that part to it. Trey, I don't know. They need Trey. They don't have leverage, the Bengals, in my opinion, in not as much, because I don't think that they do anything without Trey this year. I think they need Trey more than Shamar right now, this year, this window. And that, I think, helps Trey hopefully get back there and get it done. I don't know.
You'd think so. And I think if they were viewing it that way, where it's like, we have a chance right now, I think there would be some increased urgency. But I don't ascribe normal thinking to this team in the way that they see these situations, because they just don't approach them the same way that a lot of other teams do.
They did bring T back. They did do some things that were uncharacteristic, and I hope they can find a way. What a game changer culturally if they are able to get it done. And we will forget about it, as we will with MICAH. That's just kind of, that's the Jerry experience, in my opinion. For this one to, for this Bengals experience to end well, I was shocked that they brought T back. No one more shocked than me. I thought it was over. For them to make that happen, I think Joe a big part of that, a big catalyst for that change, in sort of, departure from the way business is usually done. Hopefully that transfers now. I don't know. I don't know who has the leverage on any given day. I literally cannot believe we're still talking about this. You are over there in Arizona. We talked a little bit about Chicago with the food scene. I guess we should talk about the Chicago Bears. We had Mike Singletary on. He's very cautious about hype with them. Would not call them a playoff team to me. Said that we still have to see Caleb and his work ethic. It was sort of, like he was not putting, maybe it's just like, Mike Singletary, tough love kind of a thing. Bears vets take the field today. What are you watching for as far as Caleb's developing under Ben Johnson?
I'll say this. I know all about Mike Singletary, tough love. He was my football coach for 2 years when I was 13 and 14 years old.
What?
So I've gotten that first up close and personal.
What are you talking about?
He was my youth football coach, Mike Singletary, for 2 years. So I know Coach Mike very well, and I understand that mindset. So I'm not surprised by that whatsoever.
Was he the toughest boss you've ever had in your life?
He's certainly one of them. And the story I always tell is, I think it was when I was in 8th grade, we were practicing, and he came to practice in full pads and was like going through bag drills in full pads. And at this point, I don't know, he was probably 45, 50 years old. And he still looked like he could play in the NFL. It was remarkable. So I've got plenty of fun stories, but he was a very fun coach to have, even though he definitely was hard on us. The Caleb Williams part of it.
Hold on, no, I'm just trying to imagine like who the other boss is that rivals. Like who's the jerk that, that not that Singletary is a jerk, but who's the hard ass that you've had in your young career as a journo that rivals Mike Singletary? And tell me who that is so I never apply for that gig.
I think most of my bosses were pretty good. I mean, I worked, people that know my history. I mean, I worked for one boss for most of my career at this point, but I would say Mike Singletary was probably a tougher boss than Bill Simmons. I think I can confidently say that.
How tough of a boss is Ben Johnson?
Very.
Yeah.
Very. And I think that that's probably a good thing, because the standard and I think the bar and the expectations, I think, are going to be very, very high in that building. And I think that's a good thing. I feel like hard coaching, and that's something that Caleb Williams has asked for. And I think that's exactly what he's going to get with Ben Johnson. You watch the Lions the last few years, and the thing that jumped out to me consistently is the details in the offense. The details in the offense were so well coached. They were so well designed. And I think that in order to play like that, you have to hold your players to an exacting standard. And I think that's exactly what Ben Johnson has done. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit with Hamilton even just yesterday about, there's obviously the offensive line and 68 sacks and he's got to get the ball out quicker. But Ben Johnson, just his play, his schemes, his playbook will hopefully help these receivers be able to be like, I kept watching, I feel like last year, and the receivers just weren't at the right place, the right time. The rhythm wasn't there. And that's why he held on to the ball a lot of the time. So I'm excited to see how his play calling, how his just what he's going to do for the receivers and the routes sort of help things be calmer for Caleb, who I love that he showed up a couple of days early. I think it says a lot about Caleb and his mentality, and I'm excited for them. I'm excited for your big tour. Oh my gosh, we have so much exciting stuff going on with the Athletic Football Show, going to 20 plus teams. I'm going to challenge you to hit 21 teams. Hit one for me. Check out the Athletic Football Show on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. So many nuggets. And the coaches are some of the hardest to get. And this guy's going to, Liam Cohen, I've never met him, but Robert Mays is going to over there with Travis Hunter. So you guys like fantasy, obviously, if you like sports betting, if you just want to know and get set for the NFL, guys, please follow Robert Mays and the Athletic Football Show. Thanks, my friend.
Thanks.
Hog Salt's sticky date pudding. We'll be back after this with Warren Moon, who I sadly won't get to see in a couple of weeks, but he's here on the show. My fave, my bestie, up next.
Shame on you.
Love you for that. Shame on me. I'm trying to think of what to get out from there.
Very good.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Travis, maybe.
Yeah. The Cardinal stuff, we don't get a lot of Cardinal stuff out there. I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Trey.
Oh, I don't know if that, so,
I know.
So ugly.
I know.
Do you know how bad things would have to be for me to Instagram post a photo of Paris?
Yeah.
2 day, that is some real FU stuff. That is some real
yeah.
And
especially after yesterday, it sounded so positive. Mm-hmm. It sounded like things were moving in such a good direction, and then
it's the 1 year. The guarantee of 1 year is so what is that? We have to find that movie where the guy takes off the glove. And he does that. What's that from? Can you find the origin? If it's not, I don't know. Who knows? It might not even be apropos. But that's what that is. That is we don't believe in you.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for that.
He's still in his prime. It's not like he's, at the tail end of his career. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. My Netflix Jared Goff weather thing's doing well.
Let's go. Yeah, that was a really fun chat. That was great.
I know people should go. I don't know how, but I have to get out how to watch it. I'm team Jared Goff this year. It's not even, the world is sort of just pointing me in that direction.
Yeah.
And I don't I think he's in the perfect spot where people think he's not going to do much without Ben Johnson I'm very much looking forward to wins the first Chicago game in Chicago. That's the one for me. Cold weather game. When's that one?
Let's see. It is. Oh, wow. Week 18. January 4th, 2026.
Freezing.
Oh.
Let's do it. I can't, whatever this, I have to be there at 2 thing for the Rams. I can't do.
Okay.
Whatever the original time is what I can do. I don't know. Kat just texted me, but I can't do that.
Thrown under pressure.
You know, life is good when you make somebody from the other team lean over like they're going to throw up, Warren Moon. And you had that effect on people back in 1994, where that play came from, back in 1990, when you were Offensive Player of the Year. You are a Hall of Famer. I love you. I'm sad I'm going to miss you at the Hall of Fame in a couple of years. How can I make that up to you? Let's just talk about it.
You know, I've only asked you on a couple of dates, and you turned me down on my first time I asked you on a date. I mean, why? Why? You got a better offer? What's the deal?
I don't. Oh my gosh, we tried so hard to make it happen. I would love to join you in Canton. Let's just talk about it. We're going to be there. Unfortunately, I cannot make it work. I got to. And listen, if it was, I would love to say it was something great. It's something not.
Special. He's very special.
No, I've got nothing. Can you pray that into the universe for me, Warren? You will be in Canton, where we are missing our first date together. Can you tell me what you'll be doing?
I will be doing a lot that weekend. That is one of the busiest weekends of the year for me. I'm on the board of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as well as the advisory board for the players. So there's a lot of things going on. I'm involved in our Board of Trustees dinner on Wednesday night. Of course, we have the opening of the season on Thursday night with the Hall of Fame game. We start to get together as a team on that night, where we have a toast in the bus room where all the busts are. All the Hall of Famers get in there, and we have a toast to kind of toast the season getting started. There's just so much going on. We have medical testing that morning, because we have the ability to get our bodies tested every opportunity we can to make sure we're staying healthy. On Friday is another big day. We take a team picture. We have our Ray Nitschke luncheon. We have the Gold Jacket dinner. They get their gold jackets that night. I mean, there's just so much going on that whole weekend. So, yeah, it's a great time, and I'm sorry you're not going to be able to be there to share part of it with us.
But I can't wait to follow you on that. It sounds like you wouldn't even have time for me, Warren.
Of course I'd slip you in there. No question.
I haven't seen you since the Derby. It's always great to see you. And thank you for all that you do for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is sacred. It's our best players. Clearly, it's really important for you to take care of the greatest players who gave us so much joy and others just sadness over the years and years and years by crushing them perennially. So appreciate all of that. We had news yesterday. I know you're a busy guy. I want to go through some of these headlines, and I want to start with the Hall of Fame and Phillip Rivers. He retires as a Charger. I made my case for not first ballot. I'm not even saying in the next couple of years, but we are doing this thing where we are putting so much emphasis on the Lombardi right now. It used to not be that way. What are your thoughts on Phillip Rivers retiring as a Charger, but what are your thoughts on him being a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer at some point. I just don't know when that is. Everybody talked about Eli Manning last year being a first ballot guy, and a lot of people were surprised when he didn't get in. But it's not an easy group to get into. And this year we're only bringing 4 guys in, which is one of the lower numbers we've had in a while. And I think it's for good reason, because we want to make it a very selective group that gets into the Hall of Fame. So definitely, Phillip's career has been a Hall of Fame type of career, and I think he will get in one day.
Do you think that, in general, as a Hall of Famer who cares about the Hall of Fame, is too much emphasis being placed on a Lombardi?
I think in the quarterback situation, yes. No question, because the Hall of Fame is more of an individual award. And the Lombardi is a team award. You can't win a Lombardi without a great football team behind you. Some guys are fortunate enough to be on those types of teams. Some guys are not. And we've had some great players that are in the Hall of Fame that weren't fortunate enough to be on Super Bowl teams, me being one of those. So that doesn't mean you're not a Hall of Fame or haven't had a Hall of Fame career just because you didn't win a championship in football. And we've seen a lot of different cases of that. You look at Dan Marino, who's in there. You look at Kelly, who's in there. You look at Dan Fouts, who's in there. I mean, I can name a lot of different guys who are in the Hall of Fame that didn't win Super Bowls, but they had great careers over a long period of time.
And at the quarterback spot, especially with what you're talking about, I think you're totally right. I was looking at his numbers. But, Jim Kelly, Fran Tarkenton, I feel like it used to not be as weighted as it is now, but it is more competitive and it is sacred. And I do love that the NFL and the Pro Football Hall of Fame have made it a little tougher to get in. Even that said, Philip hopefully gets in at some point, as you just eloquently said. Now, I think we'd like somebody on the Titans that's a quarterback to get into the Hall of Fame again at some point. Is that Cam Ward? Big news yesterday. Will Levis. I did not see this coming. He's done for the year. The general reaction, Warren, was, if Cam somehow wasn't the starter, he is now. It's not even a big deal. Is there anything that is lost in not having Will, who probably won't be around the team very much, not having his presence around for Cam?
Well, I don't know if he's the actual guy that you want there, but I would like to see them have some type of veteran behind Cam that's not a threat to his job, somebody that can really give him guidance and kind of show him the way, but not really competing for his job. And that's what I think would be valuable for him, being a new quarterback, a young quarterback coming into this league. Will is going to be a guy who's going to want to play. He's going to want to compete. He's going to want to try and take that job from Cam. I just don't think that's the best situation for two young quarterbacks battling it out like that. I would much rather see, like I said, a guy who's been in the league, who knows he's not going to be the starter there, but is definitely going to be a value to Cam to help him along his way, because he's going to be faced with a lot of things along the way that he's never experienced before, and hopefully he could have somebody there to kind of just bounce things off of.
And there's just been so much change in that team, on that team, whether it's coaching, whether it's players, personnel, all of that, Will Levis, it was a bit of stability there. There are some interesting options that I'd like to throw your way. And you tell me if you were calling the shots, and I'm convinced that you do, or at least have a little bit of an input. Who's interesting to you as a veteran? Ryan Tannehill, I think, is very interesting. He has not officially hung it up. I like that. Carson Wentz, Tyler Huntley, Teddy Bridgewater also out there. Which veteran do you like?
Probably Teddy Bridgewater. If he was really serious about coming back, I know he's doing some other things with his life. I think he's coaching now, from what I understand. But he'd be a good guy to be behind, because I don't think he feels like he's going to be the starter there, and he would be a good guy for him to feed off of. He's an African American, so he's got that relationship that he can understand a little bit more. All those things are very, very important when you're playing quarterback in the NFL. So I think Teddy would be a good guy for him to mentor off of.
Great points by you. He is coaching high school, but he did come back and play last year for the Lions. Yeah. So I think like a phone call from Warren Moon might help him get his butt to Nashville. I'd like to see it.
Maybe from Cam Ward. I mean, they're both. Yeah. They're not both from Florida, but he did play in Miami.
Yeah, I want Cam Ward to succeed. He's clearly somebody who's a star. But sometimes it's just what's the surrounding pieces, the support, all of it. There's so much more that matters that you can't control.
So much that goes into it for a young quarterback. Yeah, he's got to have that infrastructure's got to be solid, and hopefully they just don't put too much on his shoulders too quickly. Have you been
in contact with him at all?
I have. I text him every now and then just to see how he's doing, making sure that I wanted him to take a long vacation this summer because of everything that he went through that long season last year, through the bowl process, through the evaluation process of being scouted, then being the #1 overall pick. It's a lot. And then all of a sudden you're going to go into a season now of 18 games plus 3 preseason games. It's a very long season for young guys. So you want to take some time and just get away from it all. And I think it's important that he do that. So hopefully he did. He told me he was going to. So I haven't followed up on him to see that if he did, but hopefully he did.
If he had texted you, how do I get on the same page as Brian Callahan the quickest? What do I need to nail down right away? What would you text him back?
I just tell him to live with him as much as you can take him, live with him. You just try and be a sponge and kind of soak up everything you can as far as everything he's trying to teach you, because there's so much to learn that first year, and then a lot of it has to do with what actually happens on the field. You can only learn so much in the classroom. Once you get out on the field and start experiencing all those different situations, that's when you start to get better, because you start to get more reps under your belt. You start to see different coverages, different defenses against the same plays, and the more you see that, the better you'll get at it each time you do it.
There's a lot of news going on yesterday. I don't know if did you happen to see fellow Hall of Famer Jerry Jones' words?
Wow. Yeah.
Let's okay.
I mean, I do understand Jerry, but I don't understand Jerry. And I don't know. I guess when you get in negotiations, you just don't say things like this, but that's Jerry, and he's going to be Jerry.
It kind of worked. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
But from the player perspective, if you're Micah, he said all the same things about Dak, got out his checkbook, made him the highest paid quarterback, still is. I believe he'll pay Micah. But if you're a player, like he's saying, you got to think like the player. How do you feel when you're hearing something like that? How does it actually affect you?
I mean, you just don't feel like you're as important, you know? You don't feel like you're as an important asset as you thought you were. He kind of knocks you down a little bit. And, you know, what if Micah goes out and gets 20 sacks for the next 2 years and outplays the contract that he has? That could happen too. There's a lot of things that can happen within a contract, but that's the chances each side takes when they sign a contract. You know, I'm going to take a chance that I'm going to give you this money, and I'm taking a chance that I can perform to what you expect of me. So that's going to happen. But football is a game where injuries and different things like that happen. So you can't go into it thinking about injuries.
It's well said. If you're Micah, does this affect the way you negotiate now?
I don't think so, because I think the numbers are so clear cut out there as to probably what he should be paid that it's pretty much given that he's going to be somewhere around 40, if not more than $40 million, because that's where the top guys are being paid right now. And he's one of the top guys, and he's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years younger than the next guy, maybe even more than that. So those things are in his favor, that he's younger. He's got more career to get through than those older guys. Those guys are probably in the last 2, 3, 4 years of their careers, where he's probably got another 10 years. So those things are in his favor.
The franchise tag, I don't know if is in his favor. It kind of mucks things up a little bit, but hopefully all the right things happen. An absolute stud in the league, and Trey Hendrickson, and all these other, like loose ends that need to be tied up, because resentment builds. It's time to focus now on the season. I'm going to focus on quarterbacks. I need to know your breakout. Who is the quarterback that's going to Sam Darnold it? Who's going to have a breakout season? Drake May, Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy. Who you got? Anthony Richardson?
Wow, that's a good question. I haven't really even thought about it like that, Kay.
Justin Fields?
I don't know. You would hope Justin Fields is the guy that breaks out, because everybody's kind of been waiting for him to break out since he came in the league. He's shown a lot of different flashes. He's shown that he has, great ability, but he hasn't done it on a consistent basis. So if you're the Jets, you want him to break out this year, because they have a really good roster, and I think they have a chance to make some noise in that division if they get good quarterback play.
Well said. We're going to take a TV break, still live on YouTube, so don't say anything too crazy. Hall of Famer Warren Moon will be right back. Okay, love the Justin Fields pick, but now, we have Josh Allen, MVP, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. They wrecked the league last year. They crushed it. They're all still chasing a ring. Which one of those three do you think has the best shot to get one this year?
I think Lamar.
Really?
I just think the way they just keep building that roster. And I mean, you look at their secondary, it's probably one of the best secondaries in the league right now. They're just very physical all the time. They still have Derrick Henry back there, a legitimate, what do you have, 1,900 yards last year? So he hasn't fallen off. All his receivers are back. So yeah, that's a team that's right there ready to go. And Josh Allen, they'll be right there too. But I think it depends on, who plays who in the playoffs, because if you have to go through, say, playing both Kansas City and Baltimore, if you're Buffalo, and the same thing if you're the Ravens, you got to play both of those. But to get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But if you only have to play one of them, that'd be great.
Oh, Warren, the way the internet's talking, the Chiefs aren't making the postseason. They're done. Yeah. They're over. Their window's over. Your thoughts on that?
Everybody's on that recency bias thing. They saw a dominating performance in the Super Bowl, and they just think they're not a good football team anymore. They're still a really good football team. And they've improved themselves in the places where they needed to.
Ooh, you are not sleeping on the Chiefs, and I love that. Okay, Hall of Fame weekend, so many festivities. Your dance card is booked. It'll be so fun. Here's the Hall of Fame class, just to tell everybody what will be going on next week. And, of course, the Hall of Fame game. But here, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, friend of the show, Antonio Gates, Sterling Sharp. Very, very exciting. What are you most excited for?
I'm just excited for all four of those guys because they've all waited a long period of time to get in, and they're all getting their chance. Sterling Sharp is a guy that I played against when I was in the league. He was considered one of the best receivers in the league at the time. His career ended because of an injury, so he didn't have a long career, and I think that's what's hurt him to take this long to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I'm really, really happy for him. And he and Shannon being the first brother combination to go in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that's pretty exciting, a great storyline to build off of. So, yeah, this isn't the most glamorous class because you don't have, the flashy type players in this class, but these are all solid, really good football players that deserve to be there.
I'm thinking about this NFLPA, just the way that you always talk, this NFLPA shakeup that's gone on. Can I nominate you? Will you take over? Would you do that gig?
I've been asked, but I'm just not interested at this time in my life to do something like that. But
really,
there definitely needs some really good new energized leadership, and I think it needs to come from a much younger guy as well. The Players Association it had such a great it had such a solid foundation when Gene Upshaw was there and the players were united and the league and the players got along very well and a lot of progress has been made. But this last situation is just very ugly all the way through it. And there's a lot of heads that need to roll on this thing and get it back on the right track.
We have about 10 seconds. If you're not going to do it,
a lot of work to get it done, and I'm not at that stage.
If you don't want to do it, nominate one person you think who would do a good job.
Oh my God, Troy.
Really?
Yeah. Troy should have been out right after Gene Upshaw, but he has a pretty good job with the NFL right now.
He does.
He would be a guy that would get that thing turned around and straightened out. Give him Troy for president. We like to hear it. You thought that I
fame.
Give me a heads up. I would have better answers for you.
Warren, I think you should do it. I'm nominating Warren Moon for president of the NFLPA if he wasn't having too much fun in his life. Appreciate you. We will be back tomorrow. Hall of Famer Warren Moon, you are a legend. Thank you.
Great to be with you as always, Kay.
As always.